All right, welcome back to Central Valley Talk. I'm Mike Scott. My next guest now, Paul Abajian from the MANTRAHOUSE, which is a video production company here in the Central Valley. Actually, you tell me you're statewide now.
Yeah, we do most of our work here in Fresno, but occasionally we do some work down in L.A. and then up in the Bay Area as well.
Yeah. So what do you do, commercials for companies or?
Mostly commercials and corporate videos. So we don't really do a lot of event videography, a lot of 30-second TV spots and corporate videos for web or like social media, or inside videos, like we just did one for Farmers and Merchants Bank up in the Bay Area to play inside their banks. So it could be that. But
you mean the ones that run continuously on the video screens?
Yeah, it's explain. It's usually to explain something. In their case, it was a new machine, a new ATM type machine, so they wanted people to see how it worked, and so.
Do you get a penny every time it plays?
I wish I
You
did.
wish?
I wish I did.
So what's your background, Paul? Were you a videographer somewhere? Or?
No, actually, I was a theater major,
Uh-huh.
actor down in L.A., and then
That's probably a good background for this kind of work.
Background. I've had a lot of excuse me. I've had a lot of acting classes and a lot of.
You kind of look like George Clooney. Have you been told that?
I've had that before.
Yeah.
Just the gray is all it is. Yeah.
Well, then I'd really look like George Clooney.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that helps because I've had a lot of years of that, and then once I got behind the camera, I kind of started to enjoy that more because it's just more of a director's medium, and so it was just another canvas for me to kind of paint on, I guess.
Yeah. Well, how did you make that transition from the acting to behind the camera?
Actually, how it happened was I was with a bunch of acting friends, and we wanted to create our own reels of work we'd done, and we didn't have a lot to show. And so what we did was we took a lot of TV shows at the time. This was back when like NYPD Blue and Chicago Hope and Picket Fences and those types
90s?
of shows were on, 90s, yeah. So I took scenes from there and just kind of videotaped them and wrote them out by hand, and then kind of assigned different actors, and we rented a place. I think it goes under a different name now, but it's a type of studio in LA that has ready-made sets. So there's already a courtroom, there's a police station, a lot of like smaller budget or like at the time like smaller like HBO films would shoot there because the sets are already there, right? An apartment, some of the little hospitals. So you just have to set dress them.
Yeah.
And then some are already set dressed. But so we did that, and I had a lot of crew guys I knew I'd met from others, other shoots I'd done that wanted to do it kind of for free, and we all kind of jumped in, and and I directed it, and that just the bug hit me that day. It was a long day, but it was the most tiring day and exhilarating day probably I've ever
You knew
had.
it was right for you.
Yeah, it's just you're physically exhausted, and then mentally, you're just making decisions, because shooting is just problems. You're just fixing problems all the time. So you're just always trying to figure out, how do I get around this and keep going, and so. But yeah, that was my first kind of hit, and that was it.
Okay, but taking that then to forming your own company, that's a big step.
Yeah, and it took a while.
Yeah.
It took a while to do that. I got some work from an ad agency down south to do little stuff, and that kind of got me started a little bit. And then
They obviously liked your work, so
yeah,
asked you back.
Yeah, and some of it's just a trust factor. They handing you clients that they've had, and then their clients spend a lot of money, and all of a sudden they don't know you, and they're trusting you with a project. It's kind of that's the hurdle usually.
Sure, sure. Do you remember the first commercial you ever did?
First commercial I ever did was for, I believe it was for Uptown Whittier, which is like kind of like Old Town Pasadena, a section of Whittier, and it was a co-op thing that was going to be in the theaters at the time, which was a new thing. No one was playing commercials in theaters at the time, so it was a new deal. So we were shooting multiple, like when you shoot 3 or 4 commercials, and they highlight 3 or 4 businesses. It was one of those deals. So we shot for a couple days and did that.
It only showed in theaters.
I believe so. I think it only showed in theaters, yeah. And then the second one I did was actually it's called a spec spot, where no one's paying for it except for myself or whoever.
You hope they like it and buy it.
I hope they like it, yeah. So we did it for Volkswagen, and we shot it on the back lot of Paramount Studios, and which was fun to do.
So did Volkswagen like it?
They didn't. They didn't go for it, but I did have a company, a direct response company, that was going to try to syndicate it for just local dealers, but it just didn't happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
most car companies have their own major production
their own
companies,
ad agencies and all that. It was more just to do it and
Yeah.
to have it on my reel and kind of get going. So.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of your ads go national?
Yeah, well, they kind of do in an odd way. So we've done stuff for a company called Fitness Together. We did, but it was kind of piecemeal. So we would do it. We did a spot here, and then they liked it, so we re-tagged the end.
Right. They customize it for each market it
So
runs
we kept
in.
sending it out individually all over the place, and even there, I think there was one in Scotland. So it kind of went all over. Golf Channel, done stuff for that, so that was national.
Cool.
Did a spot for a golf manufacturer.
It's like our little show here goes around the world on the internet, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sure businesses think, oh, I can't afford to hire a company to shoot me a commercial. What kind of prices are you looking? You work with companies to make it affordable for them?
Yeah, generally we are trying to figure out what their budget is, so we can. I mean, around here, because it's kind of all. I don't want to say it's all over the place, but it's people's expectations. Sometimes they see what's on TV in a national spot, they don't really know what's involved. Here it's more like, okay, let's figure out what makes sense for you, how much money to spend, and then we'll tailor something that works with that. You know, sometimes we'll give them something maybe too much, and I'll say, okay, well, let's take this out, or maybe I can do this instead, and then try to get it to where, you know, it makes sense for them to spend the amount of money. Because it's not just the production, it's the airtime.
Sure.
Too. So it's just, in some companies, TV might not be the way to go. It may be another route. So it just depends.
Yeah. So are you a one-man operation, or do you have a whole staff?
I have a partner named Ian Mindra, and so what I do, I'm more of the live action person. So I'm dealing with directing and producing, and then he does and editing as well. And then he does the 3D elements, the motion graphics, any kind of visual effects work. We do a lot of work where things that you don't really notice. We might change a sky out. You know, there's a fire hydrant that we want to get rid of. It's stuff like that. And so he does a lot of that
So
work.
he takes your raw stuff and he
So I would
polishes it
take
up.
something we shot and then edit it and then give him kind of a picture that's locked, hopefully, and then give that to him. And then he would do everything he needs to do, and he'd send it back to me. And then from there, it would go to our audio mixer, who'd then in the music, and you know the voiceover would already be edited in that I probably already did it. And then it would go to him, and then any sound effects and music, then he'd kick that back to me. Then it's done.
Okay. You told me tomorrow night, Thursday night, you're having a chamber mixer
Correct.
at your place of business, which is on the 7th floor of the Security Bank building.
Yeah.
And can anybody come, or do you have to be a member of the chamber? Or?
You don't have to be a member of Chamber, but you do need to RSVP it. And there is an, let's see how you would do that.
Probably call the Chamber of Commerce. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
you could do that.
Well, I can probably stop by and see you anytime,
I
right?
think it's $10 for non-chamber members. If they contact me directly, then I can kind of get them in as a guest.
But if they can't make that, anytime, they can probably come by and say hi to you or
Sure.
see what you do down there.
I'm happy to give people a tour there. That building is an awesome
It's a gorgeous building, yeah.
So people, when they come, they love to kind of take a tour of it and see and look around and go up to the top. And but tomorrow night we're going to do it in the vault, which is down way in the bottom, which a lot of people haven't really seen, which is really...
The original big, right?
It's still
bank
there.
vault is still
Uh-huh,
there.
and I believe it's still... I think it still could work. The door. It's just a huge door.
It
It's
is
got a
huge,
lot of
yeah.
lights, and it looks very high-tech for what it was at the time.
Yeah.
It still
Are there
does.
still condos up at the top of that building?
There are still lofts there, yes. There's, I think, 2 floors, and they're doing construction on, I think, 2 more right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great views at Chickchansey Park and
Yeah.
downtown
Yeah,
Fresno.
they're blowing out some of the, I think, on the, some of the other floors I noticed, and they're taking it down to the brick, and it's just beautiful in there when they open it up.
Yeah.
And all the windows all the way around. It's really pretty.
Nice place to have a business.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, thank you for coming in today. Again, how can folks reach you? Your website, phone number?
Website is mantrahouse.com. So it's M-A-N-T-R-A, mantra, which is an ad term. It just means like repetition. So mantrahouse.com, and they can go on our site and contact us there through
Facebook?
either email. Facebook. They can find our page. If they just go on Facebook and type in Mantra House, it'll pop up.
Cool.
And that's it.
All right. Paul, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Mantra House
Yeah.
here on Central Valley Talk.